Hello everyone, this is the Bovine Terror, and today we will be playing Jurassic World Evolution. So, I have a plan for kind of a special series that we're going to be doing with this, because I would have, just covered this game as it was happening, and as things were getting updated, and just cover the game and just do like normal playthroughs and things like that. The only problem is that I didn't find out about this game, and I didn't start playing this game until probably a few months after it had been out, and I bought it on sale, and I only have the base version of the game. So I've seen a number of other people playing this game, and it's a little hard for me to feel like it's justified to make a, just a playthrough of this game in the campaign mode or anything like that, considering one, I don't have any of the DLCs, and two, this game's been out for quite a while and people have done the playthroughs of this already. And so what I decided I would do is I would do something completely different, something that I haven't seen anybody else do. And what that's going to be is this is going to be a bit of an educational series and on these dinosaurs. And we're going to be essentially going through time and going just from time period to time period and looking at all the dinosaurs that live in each time period. So, what this episode is going to be is it's going to be the early to mid Jurassic period. So, there is okay, I should also specify. I only have the base version of the game. So I only have the base dinosaurs. I know that there are other dinosaurs that can fall into a lot of these time periods, but I just don't have them. And I unfortunately don't have enough money to be able to buy all these dinosaur packs to get a lot of these dinosaurs. So I'm sorry, but that's kind of what I can do. I can't do much more than that. I'm going to be doing this regardless of region. It's only going to be based off time period. So all the dinosaurs here are dinosaurs that lived in the early Jurassic or the mid Jurassic. And so yeah, there's not a whole lot from this time period. There's a lot of dinosaurs in this game from the late Jurassic and from the late Cretaceous. So those are going to be really big. Those are going to be really big ones. Lots of dinosaurs. This one there's not going to be quite as many, but I think that's good to start off at least. So there are no dinosaurs in the base game that are from the Triassic, so we can't look at that, unfortunately. And there's some cool dinosaurs in the Triassic, but just none of the ones in the game, unfortunately. Here's to hoping Dilophosaurus comes in this game. Dilophosaurus would be really cool. Also, I should say, all the dinosaurs I want in this game, I want Dilophosaurus, because that'd be really cool. And I really, really want Therizinosaurs. Therizinosaurs would just be so cool if they were in this game. So, yeah, those are the dinosaurs I really want. So let's see if we get those at some point. Probably not, but it'd be cool if we did. So, what I have done, just to kind of show you a little bit of the setup here, is it's just in sandbox mode, and I've set up a few things here. I've set up a bunch of Hammond creation labs, that way we can create lots of dinosaurs. And so I'll show you just from the M view here, the map view, what is it called? Management view? Management view, yeah. So I've set up electric fences all around this park, and I've divided it into 3 huge sections. That way I can kind of separate a lot of the dinosaurs that might eat each other, or if they have different habitat requirements. But how I've set it up is that there are these 3 places, and this one is the big, kind of wide open expanse. So it's got a large grassland kind of area with a little bit of water here and some water on the other side. Not a whole lot of trees. So that's kind of what that looks like. And then over here is a little bit of a more moderate area with more kind of swampy areas. So there's more water in this area, there's more forest, but it's still kind of a little bit of a mix. And then back in here is much more densely forested. So all of this is really densely forested. There's some swampy water over here, but there's not a whole lot. There's a little bit of water over here. It's just a much more densely forested area. So what this is that I've made this park so that if you drive in the Ranger vehicle and you drive through the park, it looks really, really nice. And I made it to where I put just enough trees around the fences so you can't see any of the fences as you're driving around. And so it really just looks like you're driving through a dinosaur preserve. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing. We're going to be driving around in the Ranger, and we're going to be looking around, looking for dinosaurs on this preserve, and we are going to be finding them and talking about the dinosaurs. And my goal here is to try to take really nice snapshots of all the dinosaurs and then keep those pictures for later. But yeah, that's kind of what we're going to be doing here. I figured that people have done this playthrough of Jurassic World Evolution. I don't enjoy doing the challenge modes very much. It's just the fun part about this to me is making a really cool dinosaur park. And to be 100% honest, I hate having to put in all these restaurants and all the clothes shops and all that stuff just to make your park get up to 5 stars. I feel like you should have some of that stuff, but like some of the best zoos and the best preserves and the best theme parks and things like that in the world don't have, well, okay, theme parks, maybe not theme parks, but some of the best zoos and museums in the world maybe have one gift shop and one restaurant. And it's a little annoying to me that it's like, that these ones, it's like, oh, in order to get 5 stars, you need like 5 restaurants and 3 fast food places and a bunch of clothes stores and a bunch of toy shops. And it's like, put one of each and everywhere. And like that should be all there is. There should be, maybe there's a few restaurants. I can kind of get that if it's a big place. But there should be one gift shop, one clothes store, one toy shop, one fossil center. Like, I don't get how you're supposed, like, why they want you to have so many to do that. So anyway, that's kind of why I'm not doing that, and that's why I just made this park. I mean, to be honest, it's a pretty bad park. It's only got half a star, because like this is all that we have for people. Just the creation labs, the ranger station, ACU center, and the power stations, and like that's it. Because I just don't care. I don't care about the rest of that stuff. So yeah, anyway, we're just going to be doing this. We're going to be going through the dinosaur thing. I think it's the coolest way to view the dinosaurs is by driving the ranger team around and looking at them. So that's what we're going to do. So we are going to drive. So we are going to be driving the vehicle, and I unlocked the Jurassic Park Jeep one because that's my favorite one. And we are going to be entering Early to Mid Jurassic Park. So let's go. So how I've designed this is not very well because there's a stupid hill here, but you go around here, and then you get, whoa, and then you get over to this, go in here, and then you get out here. This is the entrance. This is Jurassic, well, yeah, this is Jurassic Park, I suppose. This particular one is Early to Mid Jurassic Park. Now, my frames are pretty low right now because I really wanted it to look really pretty and have all of the... I basically put as many shrubs in here as I possibly could because, well, there was no grass during the dinosaur time, and it's kind of annoying that most of what you can have in here plant-wise is grass. I really wish you could get rid of that, but I get it because it's supposed to be in the modern day. But anyway, so I tried to recreate it as best I could by putting in as many shrubs as possible. I also just realized that there are flowering plants here. I can't really fix that either because, but essentially there weren't flowering plants during the Jurassic periods. There were flowering plants in the Cretaceous, but not in the Jurassic. So plant-wise, this isn't accurate at all. I just had to put in whatever plants were here. But anyway, so I just wanted to clarify that. That's why that's like that. I also wanted to turn up the graphics really high because this game is really beautiful, and so that's why my FPS is a little slow. I have noticed that when I'm driving, sometimes the FPS kind of dies, but it's okay because the dinosaurs are cool and they'll look really pretty. So let's get into this. Alright, so let's get started and see if we can find ourselves some dinosaurs. So, last time I saw, there were some in this area. Ah, yes, there we go. Wait, I'm gonna pull the Jeep back just a little bit so I don't scare them. Drift, because it's fun. Okay, then, I'm gonna pull out our camera. I'm gonna take some photos of them. So, this is Hyungosaurus. wow, those aren't... Ooh, that's kind of... It's kind of pretty. Why is there only, like, zoom all the way in, zoom out? Oh, I guess that's the middle one. You have to go all the way out and then zoom back in. I'll take it. It looks pretty nice. Okay, so these guys are Hyungosaurus. So let's see. What's the best way to view these guys? I don't want to get too close because I'll scare them all. But here, we'll do this because I think this makes them look pretty nice. So this is Hyungosaurus, and Hyungosaurus is a stegosaur that is one of the most early and basal forms of stegosaurs that we know of. So as you can see, on top of their backs, they have pretty short and thin plates on their back, unlike something like Stegosaurus where the plates are very, very broad. So the theory about Stegosaurus where the plates might have been used for thermal regulation or for display or something like that are probably not as likely in a stegosaur such as Hyungosaurus. These plates looked to be a lot more for defensive purposes than they did for display or for thermal regulation. So Hyungosaurus is also a very, very small stegosaur. It's really only about 10 or so feet long. I mean, it's a lot shorter than Stegosaurus. It's longer than this, but it's about the same height, like right at probably the tips of its spines as a human. And it's a lot longer than that, obviously, but it's well, of course it's longer than a human. Humans aren't very long; they're more tall than long. Anyway, yeah, their height is around the same height as a human. Overall, they're very small stegosaurs. I mean, if you compare that to Stegosaurus, Stegosaurus is enormous. I mean, Stegosaurus is like the size of a small elephant. I mean, it's huge. So these guys are very, very little, very basal forms. But because they lived in the mid Jurassic, the predators weren't enormous. There weren't things like Allosaurus, and there weren't things like Ceratosaurus, and there just weren't really big carnivorous predators at this time yet. And so you didn't have to be gigantic to avoid the predators. And if you're a little spiky guy like these guys are, then you were pretty well defended from that. Yeah, I'd say that's probably good on them. Oh, they're eating from the feeder. That's a nice picture. Cool. Anyway, but yeah, so that's Hyungosaurus. So Hyungosaurus is a pretty cool little dinosaur. But yeah, so glad we looked at them. Alright, so let's continue looking around here. We can just take a look at this area. I mean, I gotta give it to this game. This game is gorgeous, and especially after they added in the new things where you could have, you know, some rocks and sand, and where you can put in trees, and you can put in the big boulders and stuff like that. The game just looks so nice. It's so pretty. I love how it looks. But yeah, anyway, so there's another area over here that we can look at some more dinosaurs. They should be over here, so let's just see if we can take a look and find some.
Weather warning remains in effect.
Let's see, it looks like... Yeah, it looks like... Yeah, there are Hyungosaurus over there. Okay, so we'll get in closer there. We'll maybe park ourselves over here. That's probably good. It's starting to rain a little bit. That's okay. There they are, kind of in the shade of the trees. But I don't know. This game's just very beautiful. I really do like how beautiful the game looks. It's not... I think there are kind of a lot of issues with the game that I'd really like if they were different, but it's very beautiful, and I have to give them props for that, so I'm at least happy with that. So, yeah. Alright, well, these are the Hyungosaurus. So, now, what I think we should do is we should move on to our next area. And this area is going to be a little bit more dangerous, because there are carnivores here. And yes, I know that they can't actually hurt the Jeep, but it's way more fun to go through these games if you assume that you can get... Ah! It's fine. It's fine. It's way more fun to go through these games if you assume that the dinosaurs can attack your Jeep, because that's just more fun. I don't know why you wouldn't want to play it like that. Just take a look at these guys one last time. Whoa. Just because they're cool. I do like how they hang Angylosaurus in the block. They look very neat. The ones in this game are much bigger than they should be in real life. Like, I'm not gonna be too. I don't want to be too mean to these guys by getting too close, but like, they're almost the same size as the vehicle. Oh wow, we haven't actually disturbed them. That's interesting. Well, they're almost the same size as the vehicle, as you can see, and so. But that's way too big. I mean, they're much smaller than this. They might come up to like the window, their spikes, and they'd be maybe as long as the collar, but they're much bigger than that. So, but yeah, anyway, that's okay. This game is not scientifically accurate even in the slightest. It's a little laughable how inaccurate it is, but that's okay. That's what this thing, that's another cool thing about this, is it's nice because I can do education and actually talk about how this game, it's not educational, like, at all, but it's kind of cool because even though it's not educational, you can kind of talk about it. You can talk about the inaccuracies. So yeah, anyway, we're gonna go in here. There's a little bit of a jungle path that has been carved in here, and I don't know, it's very eerie, very spooky in here, and I really like how this looks. Which is cool, because I think the coolest way to view this game is from the Jeep. Like, without a doubt, is just by far the coolest way to view this game. And I actually really wish that you could do more things with the Jeeps. Like, I wish you could tranquilize dinosaurs with the Jeep. I also wish the Jeeps were destructible, but I kind of get that Frontier can't just let they bought rights to Jeep cars, and they can't exactly just destroy the Jeeps in the game. But I think it'd be really cool if the dinosaurs could destroy the Jeeps, if you weren't careful around them. But that's okay. We'll just assume that they can destroy them, and I'll freak out when things come for me. So, alright, so there are some early and late Jurassic, or early and mid Jurassic predators here. I don't know where they are, so we'll have to kind of take a look around to see if we can find them. Alright, well, that was somebody. I hear Dilophosaurus, and I heard a Metriacanthasaurus, but now I can't find either of them. We're hearing sounds. Wait. I saw movement. There's movement over there. Let's go over there. Let's see if we can find them. Okay, we've also set out carcasses in hopes that we can attract the dinosaurs to come to this area. And there's one right there. That is Metriacanthasaurus. So, Metriacanthasaurus is a pretty, as far as large theropod dinosaurs go, Metriacanthasaurus is a pretty small, large theropod, which is a little bit of a weird sentence. But Metriacanthasaurus is quite a bit smaller than something like Allosaurus, and it's even smaller than something like Ceratosaurus. And Ceratosaurus isn't a very large carnivore, but because it is still a large theropod dinosaur, it is still pretty big. And you're gonna run back into the forest, okay. So the Metriacanthasaurus is a very interesting dinosaur because they... Why do you recenter? Just look the way I want to look. Ooh, no! Chill out, dude. Why are you chasing after the Jeep? That's not nice. Hey, stop chasing the Jeep. Stop chasing. That's actually really scary. Oh my gosh. Stop chasing the Jeep. Stop chasing the Jeep. Okay. Maybe he won't chase us now, or maybe he will. Are you gonna keep chasing us? Oh, he's just gunning for us. My God. Okay. Well, I guess we're just gonna keep driving in a circle until he stops chasing us. Maybe we'll just drive someplace else. Maybe he won't chase us then. But yeah, so the Metriacanthasaurus is very interesting because very few parts of Metriacanthasaurus have been found. It's the fossil evidence of Metriacanthasaurus is pretty sparse. We've only found a handful of skull fragments, and so not that much is known about Metriacanthasaurus. It's unfortunately it's a very unknown dinosaur. So hopefully, whoa, 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 no, 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 no. Okay. He's just chasing us all over the place. Alright, that's fine. Or she, I suppose. I keep saying he. I don't know, I just say he or she sometimes just depending on what I think they look like, which is a little weird, I know, but it's just, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, but yeah, so there's not very much known about them. They got reclassified a few times because there was some debate on whether or not, or like, there's some debate on what kind of dinosaur they were. And now they eventually got put into their own group, Metriacanthasauridae. So they're kind of special in that they're so unknown right now. And so this form of what they look like could actually be what they look like. There's so little found about Metriacanthasaurus, it's really hard to come up with an idea of what they actually looked like. So, yeah, they're kind of a neat dinosaur, though. Let's see here. And there's also some debate about whether or not what time period they lived in, because as I looked for information on Metriacanthasaurus, because I didn't know very much about them originally, but Metriacanthasaurus is pretty. It's either lives in the late Jurassic or the mid Jurassic, and it could be both, but I'm just not exactly sure. Let's see, he's not moving. I think he might be glitched, but we're going to take advantage of that and get really close. And actually, we really should drive on the other side of him, that way we can get him in the light, because that's how pictures work. Right, stop. Boy, I hear other dinosaurs, but let's get a nice picture of Metriacanthasaurus. Cool. That looks nice. Awesome. Alright, we got Metriacanthasaurus. Whoa, no, get back in the Jeep. I didn't mean to do that. Alright, I don't know why he's just stuck there, but that's okay. Oh, Dilophosaurus. Cool. Alright, this is our other late Jurassic carnivore. These are Dilophosaurus. So, Dilophosaurus... Aw, that's a nice picture, actually. Cool. So Dilophosaurs are really neat dinosaurs, especially in the context of Jurassic Park and Jurassic World. So Dilophosaurus, let's see if we can get any closer. I think they're pretty skittish, so they might run. But, oh, hey, they're letting us get pretty close. And they're all talking with each other. That's an okay picture, but anyway, so, it looks like there are others. Yeah, there's one right there, next to the tree. Metriacanthasaurus is stuck. I think he's glitched, but that's okay. That's cool that they can talk so far away. I didn't actually know they could do that. Well, anyway, we'll look at these guys because they're nice and they're right next to us. So, the Dilophosaurus in this game and in the book and in this world are very interesting because they are actually quite large carnivores. I mean, they're probably, 8 or 9 feet tall and about 15 feet long or so. I don't remember the exact measurements, but it's something like that. But they're pretty big. But in the Jurassic World franchise, and I guess the Jurassic Park franchise, they're actually depicted as quite small. I mean, they're usually smaller than the Velociraptors or... and they're smaller than people, actually, which is very interesting that they decided to do that. The other really interesting thing, is obviously the neck frilly thing and the spinning venom and all that. That's a pretty dramatic thing that they decided to make them do, but has almost no basis in reality. I mean, there's absolutely no evidence for any of that kind of stuff existing. It is technically possible, but it's pretty unlikely. It's just pretty unlikely that that's the case. But it's entirely possible. There are definitely animals that could do that. Oh, hey, there's another one. But Yeah, so Dilophosaurus has had quite a bit of controversy around it, just in terms of how they lived. Because initially, when they were discovered, it was phone. Why do you have to be ringing right now while I'm recording? So Dilophosaurus is really interesting because it, at the time in the early Jurassic, and then this is another thing. Oh, there's a Metriacanthasaurus coming! There's a Metriacanthasaurus coming! Oh god! No! 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 Okay. No, that's the other Metriacanthasaurus because I put two in here. The other one's stuck, but you're there. All right, and all the Dilophosaurs are running away from it too, which makes sense. Um, but and actually, we might be able to get some cool pictures of him while he's doing that. Where'd you go? So, oh, hey, they're fighting. That's cool. Wait. Oh God! Ah, no! Ah, why do you do this? Leave me alone. Stop chasing after me, you jerk. I want to go watch them fighting. Never mind, they stopped fighting. Okay. Anyway, we'll just keep talking about Dilophosaurus. Well, whoa, sorry, Dilophosaurus. I'm glad the cart stops and you can't just ram into the dinosaurs. The Dilophosaurus is interesting because they were the biggest predators of their time, and they're the only early Jurassic dinosaurs that are in this game, at least in the base game. And so since they were the largest predators of their time, it was odd because they had very strange body morphologies, and they were built very lightweight despite how big they were. But the jaws actually looked pretty weak, and a lot of people didn't think that the Dilophosaurus really was an effective hunter because it just was so weird. Like its arms were long, but not longer than how far it could reach with its mouth. But its jaws seemed like they were really weak, which just seemed like kind of a mess of how Dilophosaurus would hunt. Like they just weren't really sure. So the first thought was that it was a scavenger, and it wasn't very good at hunting anything, and so it just was a big bully and chased away other dinosaurs from getting food. This... Oh, I think there is actually Dilophosaurus in the water there. Yeah, there's one right there. Cool. And so Dilophosaurus was thought for quite a while to be a scavenger, and then eventually somebody re-looked at them and reanalyzed the bite force that they potentially could have, looked at a lot of their anatomy, and they determined that it was actually a pretty fast runner, and it was pretty agile, and so it was actually pretty unlikely that it was primarily a scavenger, and especially they decided that there's no true scavengers, or not true, there's no pure scavengers. Oh, hey, they're fighting. There's no pure scavengers in the animal kingdom right now. Even vultures still hunt. They can hunt. They prefer to scavenge, but they can hunt. And so the theories that there are animals in the past that were just pure scavengers, especially if they're the biggest predators on the landscape, are not correct. There's just very little basis for that to be accurate. So they changed it and they redetermined that Dilophosaurus was probably able to hunt other large prey like prosauropods, which are protosauropods, which are just very early forms of sauropods. And they were probably able to hunt them and eat them just because they were big enough to do so, and their bite force was probably still strong enough to be able to kill them. It probably wasn't anything spectacular, but it could do it. But they also thought that it was likely that Dilophosaurus hunted lots of small animals. And because its jaw is shaped in kind of a weird way, where it's got a weird bend right at the front. And looking at like some of the size of the teeth and the predicted bite forces of Dilophosaurus, they determined that it was likely... What are you saying? Stop talking. That Dilophosaurus was likely an animal that hunted a lot of small animals. So maybe hunting some small mammals, some small dinosaurs, maybe some amphibians, a few other reptiles, things like that. So that's kind of what we're thinking Dilophosaurus did now. And we do think it was the apex predator of its time, because it was by far the biggest predator of anything, without a doubt, at least of the dinosaurs we've found so far. So, yeah, that's Dilophosaurus. It's interesting, because Jurassic Park so drastically changed Dilophosaurus to give it all these very strange things, but, you know, the writer of the Jurassic Park books, Michael Crichton, who's the kind of the original creator of all this stuff, he thought it would be a really neat idea to have an animal that could do something like that. And the thing is, there's no evidence that any dinosaur could do something like that, but it was just kind of a neat idea that he wanted to add in there that just be kind of fun to have as a part of the world. I don't know, I agree. I think that's a really neat thing to put inside of a sci-fi book like this, and then eventually adapt it to a movie. So, yeah. Anyway, so that's that. So those are the predators of the early and mid Jurassic. So now we will be going on to see the sauropods of the mid Jurassic. And now we'll also be going into the much more densely forested area of the park. Alright, so let's see if we can find them. Alright, so there's a big kind of open area here. Might be able to find some. Not seeing it though. Keep looking around. That's the fun part about this, is that you get to just kind of drive around and try to find them. And it's neat because this game's supposed to kind of be like almost a top-down kind of thing, but you do have the ability to get in really close to stuff like this, and you'll be able to be in the Jeep and look at stuff. And there's one right now. Cool. Let's see if we can get a nice shot of you where your head's there. Yeah, there we go. Woo. And there it is. Brachiosaurus. So, Brachiosaurus is... Yeah, let's see. That is a really cool picture. Oh my god, that's so cool. Oh, that looks beautiful. Keep looking at it. Anyway, so... Oh, and there's another one. Cool. So, Brachiosaurus is considered, at least proven, to be the largest, or the tallest dinosaur that has ever lived. And there are a lot of other... Whoa, that's not what I meant. There are a lot of other dinosaurs in the world that could potentially be bigger than Brachiosaurus, but right now, as far as we know, Brachiosaurus is the tallest. So there are things like Metriacanthasaurus that might be taller than Brachiosaurus, and maybe Dreadnoughtus, which are both in this game, but again, they're Metriacanthasaurus is in the base game, but Dreadnoughtus is not. And I'm gonna back up the car so we don't get stepped on. But yeah, so the Brachiosaurus is... So it's been long considered one of the tallest... It's long been considered the tallest dinosaur ever, and it's debated, but Brachiosaurus has, for a long time, been thought to be the heaviest dinosaur that has ever lived. And now with things like Dreadnoughtus and Mementosaurus and Argentinosaurus, that thought is in question. But people estimate that these guys could have weighed 70 tons, which is massively heavy. And weirdly, I'm sorry about that. And weirdly enough, 70 tons, and you know how big these guys really are, this isn't even the largest animal that has ever lived. And the largest animal that has ever lived is actually alive today. And when I say largest, I mean heaviest. But the heaviest animal that has ever lived is actually the blue whale, which is really cool that we have the heaviest animal that has ever lived. That's actually not a very good picture, but we have the heaviest animal that has ever lived alive today, which I think is just really, really cool. to think that there's something like that. And considering there were these things that used to be alive, that you always think in the past there were just gigantic animals, and there were. I mean, like this is a huge animal. Brachiosaurus lived from the mid Jurassic to the late Jurassic, and so that's why we have them here. And that's why they're the only sauropods in this game that were alive in the mid Jurassic, and that's why they're the only sauropods that are here. The little bump on top of its head there, that's actually its nostrils, and so it can breathe through that. And so because of that, in the very beginning, when they first found Brachiosaurus, there were a lot of scientists who thought Brachiosaurus was possibly an aquatic or a semi-aquatic animal, and it would sit underwater, and it could have just its head, just that little nostril sticking out of the top, and then it'd be able to breathe while it was underwater, which was an interesting idea. But now basically everybody is pretty much in agreement that sauropods were, I mean, they were forest animals. They walked around in the forest, they ate trees, and that's why their necks are so long. But it is still a little bit strange why these dinosaurs had their nostrils up on top of their heads like that. It's still kind of a strange phenomenon that we haven't quite figured out what's going on yet. So yeah, let's go to another area and just see if we can find some more. Let's see, what else is there to say about Brachiosaurus? Let's see here. So another interesting thing about Brachiosaurus and about a lot of other sauropods that we'll be able to look at and talk about later, there's a whole bunch of them here, is that that's actually a really nice picture. They are, so the reason why these guys kind of stand out among a lot of other sauropods is that they have a very upright posture. And a lot of sauropods are very, like, if you think of a Diplodocus or something, their necks are their necks to their tails are very horizontal. But Brachiosaurus, Camarasaurus, Dreadnoughtus, and Mamenchisaurus all have very upright postures, and their front legs are way longer than their back legs, and it makes them stand up. It makes their bodies kind of arch in that direction, and then their necks stick almost straight up, as opposed to a lot of the other sauropods where the necks go straight out. So they're very interesting, and they're very specialized, because among sauropod dinosaurs, most of them were kind of this horizontal plane kind of animal, and Brachiosaurs, Camarasaurs, I know, all those other guys, almost carved out their own ecological niche, in that they made it to where their necks were so much longer than all the other, or they could reach up so much higher than a lot of the other sauropods, and because of that, they were able to exploit resources that a lot of the other sauropods couldn't exploit, which is a really cool thing about them. And yeah, I think that's probably good on Brachiosaurus. Woo, hi buddy. That's a nice picture. It's fun to take pictures of them. It's cool. But yeah, and then we'll try to get in a little closer to them if we can. Just look right next to them. See, this game's beautiful. The textures look really, really nice on these guys. And they look nice in general, so I don't know. This game's cool just because of how great it looks. And things you can do like this. You can just make something like this. I don't know, I think it's really cool. So, these were all of our dinosaurs for the early and late for the early and late Jurassic. So this is early to mid Jurassic Park, and next time we will go to late Jurassic Park, and it'll be the same layout of a park. It's just that we'll have different dinosaurs here. We'll go and do a similar thing and look through them and do some education on them. I need to move that palm tree. I don't know why it's right in the middle of the road. And yeah, so we'll just do some education, and it should be really good. So, yeah. Thank you all for watching, and have a great, great life, everyone.